Guys, welcome to. Okay. I know. I agree. However, when
I looked at the coast. Dear driver, I didn't buy my license. I don't know if you.
Hey, listen. She just told me to shut the fuck up. I know. I didn't buy my license. Okay.
Hey, boy, get to 3.10.
Hey, boy, what parcel girl?
Hey, boy.
What parcel girl?
I did an automatic license, but guess what?
Doesn't matter.
What's
up? Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Pop Culture. First of all, we have to acknowledge that usually what used to happen is I used to skirt, but now look at me being a passenger princess. Oh my goodness.
Passenger princess.
Absolutely. Hi, one do you time?
Hi. Oh,
do you
okay.
go?
Time penny or time piece.
Okay. Well.
Only those who know. If I was a time pen, time piece, the reference. If you don't know the reference, I'm broken.
Honestly.
On my own behalf.
Anyway, but yeah, guys. When's our land?
The so good for the streets do what they need to do.
Anyway, but yeah, we're really excited to bring this segment back of the show, and you're gonna have the dynamic of either Unabi's driving or your girl. But
do you know what I was thinking? I was also thinking it would be. I don't know if it's a good thing, cool thing, or if they would want to think.
Okay.
But I was also thinking, wouldn't it be great if our guests also drove?
Whose car?
Their own cars.
Oh, okay.
Because I was just like,
Ngani, would you want us to? Yeah, we wanted a lamb strap or
you know what I mean? Yes, I know, and I get it. But I would be willing to go to somebody's house to test it first to see and whatever. The reason why I was also thinking, like, you know, the times have really changed.
Yes.
In the sense of the times changing.
Yes.
And I feel like people, especially the type of people that we also want to profile on the platform.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Why don't you tell me the noise of the window? Ngani, that's such a critical. Microphone, I hope it's Bambi.
I honestly, you know, in this trio, I'm not the strongest with this technical stuff.
I forgot about the window thing. Anywho,
yes.
So I was saying, we would say, like, we obviously would love to profile a couple of some people that are important people in this nation.
Yes.
Musically, actingly, businessly, whatever the things are. And
moneyly,
all the things. We never ever made anybody signed like a
NDA.
Like no, like a
lease.
Hey, if anything happens in this car,
yes,
you're on your own.
Yes.
Kind of thing. So if they're driving,
yes. Well, for me, my first thing was like, when you're like, oh, they'll drive, I was like, insurance.
Because they're driving.
Well, yeah, exactly. If they were driving your car. God forbid.
Not my car. They're in their car. We're in. No,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but imagine when you're like, they would drive. I was like, whose car?
Yeah, no, because all of a sudden because I'm like, we drove with precious cargo.
Yes, we did.
With our first, like every single guest that we've, even when we're just driving ourselves, it's precious cargo.
We are, obviously. I was about to be like, damn, what?
No, that's what you bring and saying. I'm just saying. So like, I mean, imagine we drove with Tan Summers, like,
Brash,
etc.
National treasures.
And praise God that nothing happened.
Yeah.
I think the danger is, driving is just the danger is.
It is.
So anyway, that's a very random side.
Okay. Yeah, I think, you know what was crazy? Okay, so today, we were wanting to talk about like, career shifts, careers in general, career paths, and how, like, maneuvering it essentially is either hard, easy, frustrating, exciting, eye-opening, a little lackluster sometimes, just based on my personal experience, and Nomi and I can share a bit of hers, but I recently got back into the job market. I think I've been in now, 2 weeks? And I've been sending CVs out or resume to whoever, and you know, I haven't been unemployed in like 7 years, so it's like, well, okay.
No, Dani, you said you were not going to say unemployed.
Oh, yes.
You said you were going to say you in between
I'm in between jobs, right? But I'm using,
no,
they don't know.
Ngani, but they tell you,
and yes, so context, I left emsebenzini And so I've been using the word ukuthi I'm not unemployed, I'm in between jobs. Because I was having a conversation with Diakhe, and she was like, yeah, unemployed does have a bit of a, quite of a long-term, effect. And between jobs means like, and yeah, I feel like because I'm already like consulting on this little smaller projects.
It's not smaller, but okay.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, so I've been not struggling, but I think the thing that I have been, coming to terms with is like I am out of touch, kind of, in terms of the job market space and interviews and this and how to put your best foot forward and how to really sell yourself and how to make yourself desirable in the job market. Who am I speaking to? Leaning on my black book of people and contacts that I have to say, hey, are you hiring? Are you looking for somebody? Are you, And also that thing of like, should I be asking? Is that gonna make me less desirable because now is it like coming off as I'm desperate, or you know what I mean? Like, so I've been struggling with the concept of how it is I have to present myself in this new space, and how to also, I think the biggest part for me to stay positive in it and not try to and not try to make myself feel bad, down, dejected, less inspired by being in this limbo. How do I stay positive enough to make every day like, okay, I'm trying, okay, I'm doing this, I'm fixing my CV, maybe I'm catering my CV a little more specifically to the certain jobs that I'm applying for, etc. Like when you're getting the no's, or when you're getting the okay, not almost there but not quite there, or too little experience, or I don't know, maybe if you're the right fit, whatever the response keeps being, I've been struggling with that motion of trying to keep myself like on it, in it. My mind is right, and my, I will say I've been listening to a little more gospel. I've been talking less as well. I will say, like, I've been posting less. I'm trying to quieten the noise for myself. And through that, I just need to be sharing and be less visible for me is how I've also experienced that.
What is that about? Or what do you feel when you're saying quietening the noise and all the rest of it? What is that intended to do? To help me stay calm. Because if I'm like consuming and also regurgitating a lot of stuff, like there was a point in time where I think like that last week of April, I was like really like positive. Like I was like posting like, a change is not a this is the beginning of your new, so I felt like I needed a lot of that to also kind of support my decision and my thinking, because there was a point in time where I was just like, hey, did I make the right decision? Let's be clear, I regret nothing. Like, I'm still steadfast in my decision. However, because of impilo and your reality and your stuff, and you're like, oh, I got bills, I got kids, I got kids, I got bills, I got family, I got black tax, I bought a new car, you know what I mean? Like, I got bills. All those things start to pressure up and like, start to climb up at the back of your head, that start to make you question into that made sense. And it wasn't a whim. I didn't make this decision off of a whim, which was also something that I wanted to make sure where we really spoke about, and I didn't tell Unwabisa that I was gonna leave my JLB, because I knew, and my mom as well, is that I knew that they were never gonna talk me off the ledge. What they were going to do is just remind me of like, hey, are you sure this is the right decision? And not asking because they're questioning me, but asking to reassure and make me think
deeper or harder and knowing myself, I would have thought myself out of it. You know, I'm an overthinker, so I would have been like, yes, no, I would have nitpicked up until I then am like, okay, cool, subject to myself to ukuthi ngihlala endaweni engasafuni ukuhlala kuyona anymore anyway. So that was how I then also tried to help myself like quieten the noise and make a decision that I knew was gonna be mine, solely mine, and never have to feel like, yeah, but I was feeling this way, and then after I had this conversation, then I was, you know what I mean? You know, if ever I did regret it, I only wanted to blame myself. If I ever did change my mind, I only wanted myself to be the person that was behind that, you know, thing. Yeah, I thought about it quite a bit and marinated, prayed on it, fasted on it, and it was still a decision to make. And so I don't feel I don't feel bad. I feel good. I feel excited and a little nervous of what's to come and what's the journey ahead entails. But yeah, I'm very much like I was at that company for quite a while. So Nami,
also I suppose you had also evolved with the space because you started agency side.
Yeah.
So I think the thing about it, like, one, because you have been in the organization also for such a long time, I think the thirst for different and new is
warranted.
Maybe not expected. Warranted, expected, like, you know. And I suppose maybe and again, part of the question of asking the silencing of the noise and the everything and whatever was there a part of it of also just wanting to move, like, to reset yourself, your brain, your thinking, your everything as a person? Because obviously that's all you've known from a marketing, social media perspective. So is the silencing of the noise, because I don't know how you feel in the application process, I think that it used to intimidate me when you go into the job description and you start to read the job spec and the responsibilities and you're just like, I don't know that I can do this, especially if the role that you're applying for is higher than what your current role is.
Yeah.
So, like, is part of the silencing of the noise you wanting to get your mind right for the new thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I also don't want to feel like I can't do, right? Because I think my job or career path has been a testament of literally stepping into the unknown as well and learning on the job, upskilling myself, and doing the things that, you know, allow me to get better at my job, right? So I don't want to fall back into a trap where I feel like I can't do or invalidate myself and the efforts that I've made to get to this point. And I think that sometimes when you are either constantly getting the no's or constantly getting the silences, or also, can companies just tell you off the bat, no, sesimtholile umuntu noma asikufuni, or when you guys just go quiet and
you know what, I think the challenge,
nothing, it's insane.
I think the challenge that from, again, not because I don't work in the space of HR and the hiring managers and everything, so I don't know what actually goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
One thing that I have heard from the hims and the streets and the whatever is that in the application processes, a lot of these platform things that we're using to apply are automated.
Yes, I know.
So what that then means is when you've put in your application, your CV and your whatever, or whatever, the tools and the things are what filter they are the things that are reading your CV. Yeah. And then from there it filters to the pool that then actually gets assessed by the human beings.
Right.
So I think that's the starting point for a lot of people. That is going to be difficult, because if that automated system doesn't have an automated reply to you to say that you weren't selected, that's why you're going to be ignored. Yeah. Because if an organization has received 3,000 applications, no human being is going to sit and reply to 3,000 people to say you didn't get their job. Yeah. That's just not going to happen. Yeah. If I just have to think for myself, if I had to sit for this one job, I understand that they're going to be hiring for different roles and things, and the recruiters have other things to do in their day. Yeah. So to sit and respond to 3,000, not going to happen. So I think
cut it off then.
So then to your thing of like, then they need to look into their systems. Yeah. Would be my thing of like, then in your automated dondons, the pool that doesn't make the cut must be known. Must know, Wuti, you didn't make the cut.
Or also have the autonomy enough to say, we have 300 already, or we have 1,000. Let's stop. Let's close. Stop the count. Like something. You can't, when you realistically know you're only literally hiring one person and you allow 5,000 people to apply for the job, even though I know obviously in South Africa how it is right now, unemployment is quite high. Of course, everybody is, running, not even, walking, running to opportunities. Mabelabo and LinkedIn will literally, if you have your notifications on, will tell you, hey, na job is supposed to, na job is supposed to, and if in the 5 hours you've put up the post, you have 1,000, stop the count. Like, because realistically, you're not gonna, or if you go through and you filter through these 1,000 applicants and then it just, I think.
I need somebody maybe in that space to come forward
please,
and English.
In the comments.
On a very real,
in the comments, in the thing.
The reason why I say that is because I think part of equipping people who are looking for new employment, looking for jobs just in general because they're unemployed or in between jobs, like there's a part where the hacks need to be known so that I know what to do.
Yeah.
In the same way that there's people who will tell you about how to improve your CV and your whatevers.
Yeah.
How does the hiring process actually work?
Yeah.
Yes, it will be different for different organizations, but I think what's very difficult, and especially to be transparent, there is automated, and maybe we aren't. Maybe the content is then we just haven't been looking for it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Maybe then people will let us know that is the case. But like, I think maybe there just needs to be a little bit more visibility on just like the process, because my next point was just going to be what becomes then also difficult after the job spec part is then when because I had to override myself, so I had to tell myself, Uguti, don't look at the title and be what the heck. Don't look at the title and be intimidated. Look at the details and tick. And if you can do the thing, it could be the marketing director. And I would make sure that I don't care if it's 10 years, 20 years, 30 years experience. If I'm ticking the boxes, I'm applying. So now once you've overcome and you start to do those things, I'll have to wait for these ones to move out. So once you've kind of passed that point, you then need to, and again, I'm still on the stream of silencing of the noise.
Yeah.
You still need to find this place of like confidence within your capability and what you see the job requires, making the application. But then my part then becomes also, do we then reach out to the recruiters?
I have.
And like, what becomes the next part? Because when you're silencing the noise and what you're saying is in terms of really like being locked in, there's also the intentionality behind the application process that you either need to decide to be involved in. But for me, the question becomes like, but to what extent? And what access do you then have? Because for me also, if I didn't get the job, let's say I didn't make it all the way fast forward to the interview, I don't know that sometimes a lot of people are then reaching back out to the hiring people to be like,
say,
hey,
what
why
made me
didn't I get the job? What should I have done better? I can account for the fact that I've never done it. I've never asked. But I think that when
you taught me that as well. Like when you were applying M7 for work, or if there was an open role that you were gunning for and you went into the interview process and you made it quite far, and then either somebody else got it and you would ask for the feedback, right? Would say, hey, what happened?
Because at least in an organization, now that I'm in, I have that opportunity. Because I'm already inside. So I'm applying for jobs already inside the system. Whereas for you now, you're applying in the stratosphere. Do you still have access to Utembi, who was on the panel? Do you know what I mean? To be like, hey, Tembi, what did I do wrong? Recruiter, can you give me the contact details of said person, because I actually would like to know why didn't I get the role? And I would want to think that,
or even if I don't have to contact them personally, if they're giving the recruiter that information, and then the recruiter can tell me, hey, you were unsuccessful.
Interview.
You know, feedback, exits, interview, something to say, baby girl, you weren't confident here, you kept saying, you know, so that I know either am I practicing in the mirror, my speech? Is it, getting straight to the point, not talking around the issue? Give real life examples, like tangible things to help Umuntu, and So I am interested.
Because my thing is, I think the part where I struggle with right now.
Yeah.
For the high number of unemployment in between job numbers, there's a lot of jobs on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Who's getting hired? And again, yes, the numbers and the ratio is not going to be equal. They won't be for every unemployed there's a job on LinkedIn. Cool. There's also other platforms that hire, including the internal companies platforms. Cool.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is there are a lot of jobs on the platforms, which makes it look like so umsebenzi ukhona.
Yeah.
But why aren't we getting the jobs?
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing for me that's very difficult, because I'm like,
stop the count.
If you aren't, but if you aren't, like, I don't know who needs to help us, but like, if the whoever's are not available to help equip us, to give us the post-interview feedback, to do the whatevers, I don't walk into my next experience better. I walk into my next application with the exact same CV. Yeah. And some people, like myself, I've now created a cover letter that is kind of, it's not general, but I'm doing it more to sell me, less to sell for the role, right? But other school of thought is to keep creating a different cover letter for every single job you apply for. Yeah. Umoya uyaphela, guys. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm gonna need a general one, but where I heighten me and my skill set, right? So that's what I traded for my kind of thing. But now my thing is that if now the systems that be don't help to support us, I'm coming in with the same CV, the same cover letters, the same story about myself, the same everything. How am I going to look better at the next thing? Because I don't actually know why I didn't get it to begin with. So like, why is there an ecosystem within the job space that is actually equipping abahlali? And again, I can guarantee, I don't anticipate for the companies and brands and the whatevers to do that for us, but the companies that have recruiting, that recruit for, like the third party service providers, do they have an opportunity? Is this like a gap that they could look into to help us with? Because, and I say that just because I'm like, in as much as you can be happy in an organization, I can admit now I've been very happy in a lot of companies. I'll just take some. In a lot of companies that I've worked for, but I have looked on the platforms for other jobs. One, I think also just to kind of see the competitive nature of like, just being keen to explore a conversation to see, am I actually getting what I'm worth? Yeah. Because I think another thing that I was taught is that also what can help with you entertaining, yes, you could be in love with your job and you don't ever want to leave, but now your performance appraisal stuff is coming up and you actually want to start negotiating different salaries and things and the whatever. What actually going into the job market can do for you is going into those spaces to do the interview, get as far as understanding potentially how much you would earn and using that as leverage in your discussions with the thing. Not because you're intending to leave, but it gives another opportunity for you to, if that is as far as you're willing to say, I've got an offer elsewhere at double this coin. And some spaces, if you were really...
That's outrageous. To think that people do go to other places and double their salaries.
Because I think for me, a lot of it has to do with like, in parts... Sorry, I just have to open it because now we're like at the place and we're towards the end.
Towards the end, I actually wanted to... I had another question. But...
No, so I think we can either...
No, it's fine. We must.
No, that's fine. But I was just going to... So just to close the point that I was just trying to make, I think to what you're saying, Uguti, like, the one thing I just feel that it goes back that we just as people and again, I'm generalizing, using us as the case study for the people, but I know that everybody's different in how they approach it.
Obviously.
But like, I don't think that a lot of us have good language, like you were saying, on how to sell ourselves, right? So now you've gone for this interview, you've heard that you actually are worth 3 times more than what you're currently earning. How do you bring it back in this organization without them being like, well, then go?
Thank you.
It's
been good.
You know, which then also speaks to the value that you need to bring in the organization to be able to do something like that. Because I can account for the fact that I've worked hard in my previous company. where I knew Uguti, they're not going to let me go.
No, but
not until I'm like, what I mean is that
you know,
they're willing to do the negotiation with me.
Okay, but the
I'd worked that hard to be able to come back and be like, I've applied for this job.
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And they literally were like, we are willing to match the don. And it was like, but what you can't match is you're an agency.
Yeah.
And they're a brand. I'm going client side, and client versus agency is not the same chat.
It isn't. The reason why I had the response is because the word value for me is like.
Oh, I know where you're going with that.
Because
thingy.
you can work your ass off. You not sleep. You can do 23-hours at the job, and you're bringing value, but it's perceived value, right? Because they, abantu osebenza nabo, your managers or whoever, they have to see it as value as
100%.
well. You know what I mean? And so, and if either abag recognize it or abagwenzinjani, if they don't see you as valuable, or they know that you're essential to the functionings of the job or the market or the departments or the whatevers, they can understand and know that and say, okay, siyamdinga, but still not value you.
No, I hear you,
know
Manny. What
I
I'm
mean?
saying is that there's a lot of us working on water for tips. If you don't get that analogy, I'm gonna scream. I will scream because Terrence Howard gave us a master key.
I've made some discoveries in my own personal life with the science that, Pythagoras was searching for. I was able to open up the flower of life properly and find the real wave conjugations that we've been looking for 10,000 years. Why would I continue, walking on water for tips when I've got an entire generation to teach a whole new world?
So annoyed that you saying that.
Walk on water for tips.
Absolutely, it's my name.
What I'm just saying, the point that I'm just trying to make again on the language that we don't have.
Yeah.
This whole thing is a people's game.
Yes.
At the end of the day. And yes, the value is the value to the person's perception,
Yeah.
to the well then leave, because we're just going to hire somebody else tomorrow, to
Yeah.
whatever's. Hiring somebody new isn't always an answer.
Yeah.
It isn't always easy, because
Yeah.
if Tembi's been in the organization for the 5 years, you've got the IP, you've got the whatever, the process and the workings. Not many places have a lot of capacity to do proper onboardings and trainings and this and that. So you learn while you're flying the plane,
Yeah.
and the many things in between. So what I'm saying is that there is a point of La Rubicon. There is a point where you can see that the clarity is clear to see that
Absolutely.
you see me,
Absolutely.
see me, that I have some bargaining in this conversation.
Absolutely.
So what I'm just trying to say is that, like, there's a part of us where we're losing out when you get to that pinnacle, because I don't think you get to the pinnacle ufike izolo. There's a point where now we are born, because you are also, the projects are getting bigger, the whatever's getting the whatever's, and maybe somebody can come in with the proper language to the things that we're trying to, like,
Articulate.
content that we bring into the thing. But like, iyafika pinnacle, like I'm saying, by the time I left my previous company, I knew that they knew that I knew that they were losing me. And not the literal, but uguti, damn. She is a unicorn. Where are we going to find her? Because I made sure to craft my skill set in the space to such an extent that I was a unicorn. And even when I was hired in my next thing, they were looking for a unicorn. And whenever I've molded myself, maybe they weren't looking for the unicorn when I was hired, but I've molded myself in the space when I applied, because then our company did a merger and a this and a that, and then we had to reapply for roles. My boss, I won't say her name, I was about to say,
okay.
She was looking for a unicorn.
She was.
Ikona point. And I think it also comes with the clarity. I think it also comes with the clarity of your career trajectory, and like what it is, because I think a lot of us get lost in with the deer in headlights when, like, in an organization like mine that has the mergers and everything, the roles become available. But can't about to apply for everything. Johnny babes, how are you wanting a job in HR, marketing, finance?
It's skill set circle.
That's giving. Give me
dancing for.
Gidinga, Mr. Benzi, It's giving desperate versus it's giving ambitious. It's giving clarity, focus. You know, like you've got the vision for what it is that you're looking for, and you're doing the fewer applications, but the clarity of like where you're wanting to land, and then making sure that you put in the CV and the details and everything. So I think for me, like there's a part of it where is selling ourselves short resides also in the little bit of like
not having
being steadfast and clear and owning it with your chest. Like my boss used to tell me all the time, I can see, like when I was starting to apply for certain things, she was like, I've been waiting for you to see yourself the way that either we see you or that we are training you to see you, but you need to own it with your chest. I'm not going to tell you where to go in the business. You have to tell me. But I'm also not going to guide you in the different directions because I don't actually know fundamentally where it is that you want to go, and if you don't say it with your mouth and if you don't own it with your chest, we could send you anywhere.
I mean, we were trying to wrap it up, but I think we must never downplay the importance of having really great management.
Oh, I get. Wow.
Yabona kuba nobas ozoku uplifta akise phambili, to trust you, to embolden you, to put you in rooms.
This needs a part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5 because
do you know what I mean? Like I will never shy away from singing the praises of the managers I've had, because I don't think I would have made it to this point if I didn't have that type of support of people that, 1, believed in me, 2, that saw the potential in me, 3, that were like, okay, there's something here to be cultivated, and it needs to be moved forward, and everything, and they rubber stamped your thinking, your this, your what, even if they're like, hey, okay, so like whatever, they were able to help propel you into the person that you are at the career point that you're in. So I remember when they would be like, I used to have a boss that was like, and I've heard some horror stories about having like a black female, because if you're always looking to have a just fazana to manage you or whatever, and I've had friends that be like, I don't think actually the grandi. I'd rather have a white man lead me, or I'd rather have a, and I actually reflecting on myself as well. I don't know that the girls are singing my praises out there, because I know it's tricky, and I want the things that I want in a certain way, and whatever. So, and I think that also there's that right of like stepping when you had the role of not being umuntu ophethe and now having to be umuntu ophethe and reconciling with the traumas that you had usaphethwe, and to now have to be that person. I don't know, kuningi.
Like I was saying, if you are within the recruiting space, the HR space, the whatever space, and are willing to be in an episode or to workshop an episode or whatever the case may be, is because I think there's also the part of it where we could be speaking from a place of ignorance. We also are speaking from a place of, we shouldn't always know that type of information. We wouldn't know that type of information. So on this side of the spectrum, what do we as the people who are constantly seeking and looking, what should we be looking out for? If we're supposed to be well equipped with information, what are the sides? So like if you're keen, able, got the knowledge, got the information, got the expertise, you could be somebody who's just starting in the game, you could be somebody who has been in the game for a long time. It would be great to have both perspectives. Please, can you come into the comment section and let us know?
I'm currently hiring. You can use me as your subjects, as I currently am in the job market and searching for a job. I could be your success project.
Yes.
That like, guys, look,
how do we land
my tips and tricks do work.
And
you know what I mean?
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that would be great, and especially because we can then also help other people, because I do know there are a lot of people who are looking for Msebenzi.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching. The episode was a rickety, whatever it is. I think also for me, like, I was in the episode, but then I was concentrating because I was driving and this thing. And
you see how it's not easy. It's not easy.
And I don't know that that ever was a problem, because you always enjoyed to do it because you've been driving since you were 2 years old.
Yes, but it's not easy.
Anyway. So, and then also just the thing of like, we chasing the camera and the time and everything because I don't want this episode to be long, but it has become long.
Also tell us if you're enjoying the long episodes, because that's also new for us as well.
Yeah.
But maybe the guys are like, oh my god, 5 minutes. Guys,
hang it up.
Hang it up.
So thank you for watching.
Peace, chummy.
Subscribe, like, watch, do all the everythings. The episodes are available on Spotify as well for people who would prefer the audio version. We're still trialing and testing out some things. So just subscribe everywhere.
Walk with
Pop
us.
Culture SA.
Just walk with us.
Everywhere. TikTok.
Walk with us.
Spotify. Instagram.
Walk with us.
And YouTube.
Walk with us.
Facebook. Gone.
Walk with
Twitter. Gone.
Walk with us.
Don't bother looking fast there.
Where?
Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, yeah.